Rell is about to be the biggest game on Roblox when it releases, and a lot of you have been begging me to make a complete guide explaining what the game is and all of its amazing features. So in this video, I'm breaking down everything we know about the game so far, so let's get in it. Before we dive into the details, you need to understand what type of game this actually is, because if you go in expecting a trashy bandit beater, you're going to be super confused. Rell is an open world RPG, and that basically means you can go anywhere at any time and play whatever role that you want. Also, you should know that the game is inspired by an anime called One Piece, and it's basically a show that's like pirates versus the world government. So some of the locations, weapons, and abilities are all taken from that show. But don't worry, you don't need to have watched the show to play the game at all. I'm gonna explain everything in this video. So to start off, when you first load into Rell, you will be greeted by the character customization screen. And this is where Rell does something that most Roblox games would never do. The character customization in Rell is actually really impressive, so pay attention to this part. You'll start by picking your character slot. You have 3 character slots in total, so you can make different builds like pirates, navy officer, or civilian if that's what you want to do. And once you choose your slot, you can begin making your own custom character. You can choose things like face shape, hair color, skin color, all the usual stuff with tons of different styles. That way you'll never see someone with the exact same look as you. There's so many different things to choose from. But here's what really stands out about Rell. You can choose your own character's race. Most games end up making you spin for some ultra legendary rare race and basically just try to pressure you into spending Robux for more spins. So already we're getting something you'll never see in most games on this platform. Also, the thing about races is that they give your character special perks. For example, the Fishman race makes you half fish, half human. This gives you the ability to breathe underwater and swim faster. Rell is confirmed going to have around 6, maybe a little bit more than that many races on release. So unlike other games that force you to gamble, Rell lets you choose your race right from the start, and that means you can plan your build without wasting Robux. And then once you finish creating your character, you'll be spawned into the game, and this is where things get interesting. When you first load in, there will be an opening cutscene, then you'll be thrown into a tutorial mission. The developers leaked that on this mission, you'll learn every fundamental mechanic in the game, and you'll even get your first weapon. It will basically make sure that you aren't 100% confused before they let you off into the game. Once you finish the tutorial, it's time to actually end up playing Rell, and from here on out, you can basically do whatever you want. So the tutorial just gives you everything you need to get started, your first weapon, all the basic controls, and an understanding of how the world works. And now that you're ready to explore, let me explain how progression actually works, because this is not a typical Roblox game. Next up is the goated progression system in Rell that we've never really seen in a Roblox game before. So unlike most games on Roblox nowadays, this isn't just going to be a bandit beater where you kill NPCs and move on to the next quest. Instead, Rell is more comparable to a game like GTA 5, for example. You can go off and do whatever you want to progress in this game. Rell has a skill tree, and it includes things like fishing, woodcutting, cooking, mining, shipwrighting, crafting, navigation, and thievery. And then apart from those main 8, there's combat, which I'll get into later. Let me break down each of the main skills first. Fishing will help you catch all types of different foods, some of which will possibly craft potions as well. Woodcutting is the next skill, which is vital for helping you get materials or crafting boats and weapons. Cooking lets you boost your hunger bar, and certain foods will give you special character buffs like more damage or health regeneration for a certain amount of time. The developers also leaked that there's going to be hundreds of in-game recipes on release. Mining is similar to woodcutting. It will let you get the materials to create things like high durability boats or stronger weapons. Shipwrighting skill is basically your ability to build boats. So once you've gained your materials from the woodcutting and mining, you'll use your shipbuilding skills to create bigger and more powerful boats. Next is your crafting skill. This gives you the ability to create swords, guns, fishing rods, and much more. The higher your level, the better the things you create will be. Then there's navigation. This skill will aid you in traveling island to island, and we still have no clue how this is going to work, but we'll find out eventually. And finally, there's the thievery skill, and this allows you to lockpick chests and gain access to different loot sources. It's also rumored that you can sneak onto other people's boats, find their chests, and break into it while they're away from their boat. So we will see more about this when the game actually drops. To level up all of those skills, you'll need to do tons of different fun quests, slowly grind up the levels until you're super good at all of them. So instead of forcing you down one boring path, like block shoots for example, Rell lets you choose which skills you want to focus on. You can be a master chef, you can be a boat builder, you could be a thief. It's completely up to you. But let's be real, most of you are here for the combat, so let me break down why Rell has the potential to be the best combat system on Roblox right now. Like I mentioned earlier, this game has insane combat features. We can split combat into 3 main sections: weapons, devil fruits, and hockey. Let's start with weapons. Weapons are things like knives, katanas, swords, axes, pistols, machine guns, and probably anything that you can think of. It's already confirmed that it's going to be in the game, and we've had a pretty good amount of sneak peeks of them as well. So you have a massive variety of weapons to choose from, which means you can find a playstyle that fits perfectly for you. Moving on, let's talk about devil fruits. These are basically cursed fruits that are super rare to find, and after you consume it, your body will mutate to have random abilities. They can do things like give you the power to create and manipulate ice, become a dinosaur, or even control gravity. There's over 30 of these fruits in Rell on release, and there will only be more to come as updates happen in the future. Also, I forgot to mention, but after eating one of these devil fruits, you're cursed with the ability of not being able to swim, so that's kind of a trade-off that you have to think about if you want to eat them or not. And next up, let's talk about hockey. Hockey is a form of spiritual energy, and spiritual energy can do one of 3 things. First, coating your body and weapons in spiritual energy can enhance your damage. The second version allows you to sense the presence of others around you, which can help you dodge attacks. And finally, the rarest type of spiritual energy is the ability to exert your own spiritual energy onto other people. And if you're stronger than them, it'll do things like knock them to the ground unconscious or something like that. The thing about hockey is that it goes much deeper than just those 3 types. Rather than everyone using the same 3 types of hockey on repeat, each hockey type has a bunch of different passives inside of them called hockey cards. So not all hockey does the same thing. There are variations of those 3 that I just mentioned. For example, when it comes to the sensing others' presence hockey type, some people might have the ability to dodge attacks, while another person might have the card that makes them counterattack instead of dodging. Basically, you just collect these spiritual cards under those 3 types and use whichever one you want. This way, almost every single player you run into will have a different build and playstyle. The game will be less boring and predictable now since everyone is going to have a different build. So in conclusion, hockey just lets you customize your combat styles with a bunch of different hockey card abilities. The combat animations in Rell are on another level, so even if you're not a tryhard, you'll have fun just because of how smooth everything feels. The combat looks so fire. There's a mix of air combos, down tilts, parrying, tying people up, execution animations, and much more. So just look at these clips I gathered for you guys. They look so good. So as you just saw, the combat is both skill based, fairly simple, and it looks good as hell. So no complaints on my part. Let me know about what you think about it in the comments. Quests are how you'll level up your skills and unlock new features. Rell will have a wide range of quests and missions for you to complete, each with their own rewards and experiences. There's two types of missions we know about so far: self-activated missions and random event missions. Self-activated missions happen when you go up to talk to an NPC. It might trigger some type of storyline or activity to commence, and this just leads you into doing a bunch of different tasks, and eventually it'll help you level up your skills like fishing, mining, navigation, etc. Also, these type of missions will usually lead to things like boss fights commencing, so you'll finally be able to get some new type of weapons and armor from doing these type of quests. Also, random fact, bosses have intro cutscenes, so get excited to see some of those. The other type of mission I mentioned was randomly activated events. These will occur randomly when you're walking around the map or sailing on the sea. We already have confirmation of like 15 different events, but two of them that I will mention here are like pirate NPCs fighting you randomly, or sea creatures coming out of the sea and attacking your ship. There's a whole bunch more, but obviously that'll just take too long to go through. But just know that these will be in the game, and I hope you have fun seeing them getting surprised when you're playing. All this to say, quests in this game aren't just going to be boring copy and paste missions. They're actually going to be in-depth story mode level missions. If you play on mobile or console, this section will make you very, very happy, because Rell actually cares about non-PC players, unlike, most games on this platform. Surprisingly enough, Rell does indeed work on mobile, tablet, console, literally everything. The developers did say it runs smoothly on every single device, no matter how bad it is. How exactly did they do that? I have no clue, but they said they tested it on an iPhone 8 and it works just fine. So I guess that's good news for a lot of y'all with, trash devices out there. Also, another interesting thing is that on each device, you can actually customize your controls. And this is something you almost never see in any Roblox game ever. So if you're on a PC and you don't like using a certain button to sprint, for example, you can change it. Or if you're on mobile, you can change your button layout. Every device will have their own way of customizing their controls to be perfectly comfortable for the player. Also, when it comes to controls and movement, Rell has a lot of different types of things that you can make your character do. You can do things like jump, sprint, slide, wall run, and so much more in this game. It's actually like a built-in parkour game mode. The movement is truly free and fast-paced, so honestly, W Rell. Like I mentioned, Rell is mostly a pirate game, so a huge part of the game is technically supposed to be on the sea. Because of this, they made sailing a fully built out system. Unlike other games like Blox with their small ass ships and trash wave mechanics, Rell made a whole experience in the sea. Ships are massive, you can customize them, you can place furniture in them, and literally live on your boat. The main purpose is just traveling island to island and serving as your home for you to live on. But they also do have a fighting mechanic. Boats have armor stats, rams, cannons, and a bunch of different attachments to make it a battleship. Also, there's submarines which allow you to explore underwater, but we'll get into the underwater exploration in the next section. There are well over 30 islands and locations that will be in Rell on release. Each one has a different size, a different look, and a different purpose. Locations will have different types of NPCs, bosses, quests, and overall experiences. Also, they aren't just going to be some boring looking islands like Blox. They are massive, fully built out areas with insane detail and beauty. They're loaded with stuff to explore, so in order to help explore the map, there are also going to be a good amount of movement features like grapplers, gliders, and much more. Also, there's going to be mounts that allow you to travel the world much quicker. There's going to be water mounts, land mounts, and sky mounts, all of which you'll be able to attain somewhere throughout the Rell world. There's also underwater locations as well. You can only get to them by wearing an underwater suit or using a submarine. So exploration isn't boring in Rell Seas. Every island is different, packed with different content and rewards for you to attain. Rell Seas has a reputation system that affects everything in the game, from how NPCs treat you to what quests you can access, so understanding this system is crucial. As I mentioned before, you can either pick between being a marine, a pirate, or a civilian, and possibly some other factions that they add into the game. So your role is dependent on your reputation, and your reputation is dependent on the actions that you do. For example, if you save a civilian NPC from being attacked, you'll get a more positive reputation, while if you're the one attacking the civilian NPC, your reputation will drop. Your reputation will make NPCs react to you differently and unlock different parts of the Rell Seas experience. For example, having a really bad reputation will put a bounty on your head, and because of that, marine NPCs will come after you. And if you have a good reputation, you might be seen as the hero in NPCs' eyes. You'll also be allowed to join the Navy as well. Also, there is in fact a jail and prison system in Rell Seas, so if your reputation is bad and you get caught, you'll probably be sent to jail or the high security prison. You'll also have to do labor or escape to get out. So in conclusion, your reputation isn't just a number, it changes how the entire game treats you. So choose your actions very wisely while playing. NPCs make the world feel alive, and in Rell Seas, they actually do things instead of just standing around. So let me go into full detail. Rell Seas owners recently confirmed that there will be around 50 NPCs per town in Rell Seas. This means nowhere in this game is going to be dry or empty. Each NPC is interactable as well. They walk around, they talk with little text boxes above their heads, and you can fight any one of them as you please. And some of them will actually end up fighting you, so be careful where you're at. The owner of the game also once stated that if you're chilling in a bar, some of the NPCs might come up to you and try to start a fight because they're drunk. So not just can there be pirate NPCs or random civilian NPCs, but there can also be marine NPCs. The developers showed a clip a while back of him attacking a civilian NPC in one of the towns, and then one of the marine NPCs close by came and fought him. Here's the clip. As you just saw from that clip, NPCs aren't just going to be some trashy weaklings, they'll actually put up a good fight and do a lot of damage. Crews are one of the biggest features that's going to make this game extremely fun, so if you plan on playing with friends, pay attention to this part. Rell Seas allows you to create your own group, flag, and create ranks in your group. This way, when you want to play with friends, you can invite them all to join your crew and be under the same group name. The best thing about forming a crew is that you can use each other to fill up each other's gaps. This way, you can have one person focusing all their time on their cooking skill and making super overpowered foods, while another person can be focused on upgrading your ship to be super big and powerful. Another example is that someone else can be gathering all the materials to help give the builder the things to upgrade the ship with. Also, crew wars will be a thing, so two different crews can set up a group battle against each other and basically just see who is stronger. So crews are going to be insanely fun in this game. And one more thing about crews is that you can actually invite NPCs to join your crew. Probably do things like clean the deck or simple activities like that. But you know, we really don't know the details about that yet, but I just think that's a very cool feature. Rell Seas has something called a dex, which helps you keep track of everything you've discovered so far in the game. It includes things like fishing decks showcasing all the fish you've caught, their names and what they do. There's also the cooking decks with all the recipes you've created, and there's also the island decks showing all the islands you've been to and the characteristics of each one, like weather patterns and things like that. So the decks basically just make sure that you never forget what you've accomplished, and it gives you goals to work towards. Rell Seas will be run on a currency called Belly. Belly is earned through quests, looting ships, boss fights, robbing NPCs, or selling resources like fish. You can use Belly to buy things like food, weapons, ammunition, fishing rods, ship decorations, and much more. These will also all be at different shops and marketplaces around the map, so you're gonna have to do some digging to find where all of them are at. There will also be a trading mechanic allowing trading between players. Don't worry though, it's balanced and rarity based trading restrictions, so players can't easily scam other people. Also, there's a selling mechanic that allows players to start their very own business. You'll be able to put items in a bag and set a specific price tag on them before selling it to other players. So this is yet another path that you can take in Rell Seas. Weather and time affect gameplay in Rell Seas, so understanding these mechanics will help you plan activities better. Rell Seas is confirmed to have dynamic weather, so things like storms, fog, and lightning will all happen in the game and cause their own effect. It'll influence things like sea events occurring, sailing, and much more. Rell Seas will also have a day and night cycle as well, so certain events will only take place at day and night. So all that being said, weather and time aren't just for looks, they change what you can do and what events that will take place. So that's everything you need to know before Rell Seas drops. Let me know in the comments which feature you're interested in. I read every single one, and subscribe if you want me to be your personal Rell Seas news reporter.